Let's see how long we can keep up this trend of starting a video in a projector screen. Hello everybody, Lady Geared you here, and welcome back to Let's Play Epic Mickey. In the previous video, we conquered Off Town, kind of, except there's a lot more stuff in that area that we have to go through, but we completed everything we can right now. As for right now, we're going to be going towards MickeyJunk Mountain. Run away from the steamrollers! I think the characters controlling that are supposed to be either Mickey's, I think they're supposed to be Minnie's nieces or something like that. I always found it odd how cartoon characters never had like actual children. They either had nephews or nieces, but it never showed the characters having brothers or sisters or anything like that. Anywho, this cartoon is based off a cartoon. I think it's called Steamrollers. I've seen it a couple times. It's pretty fun. It's a pretty fun cartoon. I can watch cartoons if I want. There's a mountain we have to climb. Oswald's sanctuary is at the top. It won't be easy to reach him. He doesn't really want any visitors. Oh, bunny children. Wonderful. They're so adorable! Bunny children may look cute, but don't let too many crowd around you, or they become significantly less cute. And when you see a spatter, they get entirely uncute. From the spatter's perspective, at least. I vaguely recall the old crane being powered by some sort of electrical system. There appears to be an operator on duty. We should ask him for more information. I honestly have to say, the bunny children in this game have got to be one of the more adorable things in video gaming. But I'm gonna warn you, don't let too many of them crowd you, because the more of them surround you, the more Mickey will slow down. And if 5 of them get to you, they'll start carrying Mickey off towards either a thinner pool or a ledge, and they'll actually throw him in the thinner. How you can escape this is to use a spin attack. Paint them in to activate them, then I'll be able to clear the way. Television's power electricity! If that makes sense. The televisions are actually a really good strategy against enemies, believe it or not. As you can see right here, the bunny children will actually stop and watch the television and not attack you. In the previous video, the telephone wanted us to dial a specific number so that he could contact MickeyJunk Mountain. This is the thing. We've completed a side quest. Yay! But there's a few more codes that we want to take care of right there. But we're going to take care of this in a minute. And I've just realized I've been thinking about a lot. There's a television right there. As you can see, the spatters will actually stop and watch the television. That's really funny. I don't know why I find it so funny, but I just really like how the bad guys who are supposed to try to destroy you will stop to watch the cartoons that the main character starred in. So anyway, there's another combination. There's a couple more combinations for this thing. One of them will give us access to a collectible and stuff. So you might be wondering, how could we have possibly known what to do in that area? Well, there's actually a piece of paper somewhere hidden around here. I don't exactly remember where. But that piece of paper will tell us all the codes for this area, even a code for a phone that's later on in this area. What you could also do is that you could individually jump on top of those, individually jump on top of those things, because if you push the wrong button, it'll make a beeping noise, but if you push the right button, it would not make a beeping noise. As long as those televisions stand there, the bunny children and spatters will not attack you, which is pretty useful. Another way you can get out of this area, and it's a much less time-consuming way, is to go over here because there is a gremlin. I'm not entirely sure which one counts as the paint or the thinner method. I consider this one to be the paint method because after all, you are saving a gremlin, but um, I'm not entirely sure which one counts as the thinner method because you don't really get any negative effects from completing it both ways. I guess the only negative effect, if you don't know what you're doing in this game, if you go save the gremlin, is that because the televisions are spread across this area, it doesn't get it. You don't really explore the area, so you're probably going to be missing some collectibles. And speaking of which, if you miss a collectible in this area, for the most part, you will not be able to go get it back. So make sure you get as many collectibles in this area as you can, because if you don't get them now, you will not be able to go get them. There are a few exceptions, but those aren't for later. But I won't be talking about those until later in the game, because it actually does spoil part of the game, and stuff like that. And speaking of which, I want to talk about something that has something to do with Let's Plays in general. Something that really annoys me about Let's Playing is that this has never happened to me, but I've seen it a lot. But I've seen it on other people's videos. There are some people who will spoil a later part of the game. And when somebody accuses them of being like a jerk or something like that, they'll say in their defense that the person making the Let's Play is spoiling the game for everybody else because they are recording the entire game. But the person who's Let's Playing the game, for the most part, doesn't say what the end of the game is. Um, when I see comments like that on Let's Play videos, it just drives me insane. Fast forward! So now we're down this area, so let's continue our climb up the mountain. This area, you may notice that there's a lot of references to the Alp Mountains in this area, mostly because MickeyJunk Mountain is based off the Matterhorn bobsled attraction at Disneyland, or sort of Expedition Everest if you're more familiar with Walt Disney World. But you may notice that there's a lot of references to the Alps in this area. The reason why is because, first of all, MickeyJunk Mountain is based off the Matterhorn, but what I'm pretty sure some people don't really know is where exactly Disney got the inspiration to make the Matterhorn ride. If I remember correctly, Walt was taking a vacation with his wife to I don't exactly remember where they were going, but they were going to the Alp Mountains to go hiking or whatever. And Walt just fell in love with the scenery around, especially around the Matterhorn bobsleds. That's the name of the ride. He loved the scenery of the Matterhorn Mountain so much that when he got back to work, he started giving out all these ideas of what he wanted to do with his cartoons and stuff like that were related to the Alps. And this was the biggest inspiration for a mountain ride that he wanted to build at Disneyland. The original idea for the Matterhorn was a mountain that was made entirely out of candy. But when the Imagineers were trying to make some concept art for it, they realized that all that candy looked more revolting than interesting. So what Walt decided was that rather than building the Candy Rock Mountain, they were going to build a Matterhorn. But the other Imagineers felt that Walt was losing his mind or something like that because building a roller coaster with a mountain building a mountain with a roller coaster inside just felt like a really crazy idea at the time. This also marked the first time in the amusement park industry that a roller coaster used steel tracks rather than wooden. The reason why was because the Imagineers wanted more smoother turns for the Matterhorn, because with the wooden designed coasters, that the turns were a bit more rough. whereas with the steel-built roller coaster, the turns felt a lot more smooth. This enemy right here, this is a Beetleworks. Beetleworks. Awesome punch to anybody who gets the reference. But anyway, these enemies, this is a Beetleworks. It's pretty much similar to the Blotlings, except they're not Blotlings. You can only defeat them with one method. You have to thin out their armor, and then you have to do a couple spin attacks to finish them off. There's no way you can befriend them. They can only be defeated with thinner. I'm just gonna say this right now, that MickeyJunk Mountain is one of my more personal favorite areas in gaming. It's a really beautiful area with lots and lots of details that I really like and stuff like that. There's a lot of references to older Mickey Mouse merchandise that I don't I don't really particularly try that much to research. I already did too much research for this Let's Play. I'm not going to be researching I didn't research like every single piece of individual merchandise on MickeyJunk Mountain to point out where the things are. I do know that there are some video game cartridges at the base of the mountain. They were based off like actual Mickey Mouse video games at the time, and I think one of them is actually a Flash game on the Disney website, but I just don't really care that much for that kind of stuff. This right here, these enemies, I don't remember their names, even though it just said on screen. I wasn't paying attention because I was talking about other stuff. This guy is talking about, these guys, these guys will explode if you get too close to them, or if you use thinner. Like with most of the enemies, I prefer using paint against these guys, because if you use paint, they would not explode. There's actually two completely different paths you can take in this area, depending on whether you fill the pump with paint or thinner. I actually recommend using the thinner method to... Oops. You saw nothing. What was I saying a second ago? I prefer using the thinner method on that pump, rather than the paint method rather than filling it with paint like I usually do. You'll see why in a bit, but as with the rest of this Let's Play, I'm going to be showing the paint method first. Let's hope we can get it. This is something that bothers me really. This is something that really irritates me about this area, because if you get attacked, you're pretty much stuck there for a moment. There isn't really a way you can get out of it. It's like the walking cards in the projector screen that takes you in between Mean Street and Off Town. You can't really like get out of it, so you're pretty much stuck there taking damage. Remember, kids, green deadly thinner always has the right of way. That was a lame joke. Anyway, I like how the cubes are kind of like the cubes from WALL-E, where they're just like cubes of garbage and stuff like that. It's kind of fun. Watch out for this area right here, because I think you can take damage from the falling trash cubes in this area. So just be careful with those. Now I'm going to be showing you what this, now I'm going to be showing you how to get to this area if you filled up the pump with thinner. Just walk around this guy. I didn't walk slow enough. This is once a facility to produce Beetleworks. The dangerous parts that seem to be working. Gee, you think? So just be careful in this area. It's very easy to fall off. This area is a lot less time consuming. Well, it's not very time consuming. This area is a bit less. It takes less time to get to this area than it does to the other area. If you're not going for the collectible, but there is a collectible in this area that I want to go get real quick. Let's jump on top of these magical machine cogs. Some of the, as you can see, some of them will go up and down. The one on the far end is the one we want to stay on when it's going down, because there's a collectible over here. There's a treasure chest. Must be mine. And the silver pants still look like Oreo cookies. I like how you can see the rust on the machine cogs. That's a pretty cool detail. And who says the Wii wasn't a powerful system? No, whatever. So yeah. Oh, that reminds me of something kind of cool. Well, it's not really cool. It's more interesting than anything. This game was originally not going to appear on the Wii at all. This game, like most third-party games, this game was originally going to be released only on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. And the reason why they weren't going to make it for the Wii was because, according to the director, Warren Spector, I think that's how you pronounce his name, he said that the ideas that they had would not work for the Wii. So it's pretty amusing to know that, in the end, the game turned into a Wii exclusive. But then again, the sequel, The Power of Two, was released on the other systems, and some people kind of blame that, and some people blame Epic Mickey 2 going multi-platform for the reason that that game failed. I think that game failed simply because it just didn't really fix any of the problems with this game. Like, Epic Mickey 2 did not fix the camera at all, and the AI for Oswald and some of the voice actors in that game were really annoying. That looks like the way out. So let's go do that. A piece of extra content over there that I want to go get real quick before we do anything else. There's some plotlings over here you want to be careful with. Watch out for the thinner pool. I don't really know a way you can get across this area without taking damage. This is just the way I've always completed this area, because I've never really had the patience to figure out how you're supposed to get through this area without taking damage or anything like that. So like I said earlier in this video, there were some codes that you could find for the phones and stuff like that. One of those codes, in fact, was not something that you can use on the first telephone. That code is what you need to use on the second phone. Well, you can probably use those metal claws to get to that block without taking damage, but like I said, I've never had the patience to try anything out. You could objectively use the trick of having Mickey jump around the thinner and taking progressive damage as he gets across to get through this room, but you don't want to do that because there's a gold pin in this area that you can only get to if you activated the metal claws. The claw, the claw, the claw. I can't believe I made that reference. I've noticed that throughout this Let's Play, I've been making more Disney references than anything, and during my Skyward Sword Let's Play, I've been making more references to like other video games and stuff like that. I suppose that makes sense, because this is, after all, a Disney game, and Skyward Sword is just like a regular game and stuff like that. Now we are back in the Alpine Climbers, and there's a really scary looking goat thing right there. I swear, that goat really is scary. Some cartoons from like the early, from I don't know, like some older cartoons that have characters that are supposed to look adorable, they actually really scare me. I don't know what it is about it, but this is the way they animate the eyes, especially. It's really terrifying. I suppose kids back then probably thought it was like the most adorable thing ever. Like, oh my god, it's so cute. Its eyes are going to pierce into my soul. But with me, it's all like, stop staring at me. I feel bad for that bird that has its feet strapped to the branch or something like that. But anyway, we're getting this video off here, so thank you guys for watching this video of Epic Mickey. And until next time, let's get it to you. Oh yeah.